Welcome to the Cody World Cup Championship round. I'm Ned Gully here with my co-host Matt Turrell, and together we'll be taking you through this competition line by line, blow by blow. Well, the keyboards are clean, the screens are bright, and the grounds are in tip-top condition. I see our MATLAB line judges, Dr. Nargan and Dr. Nargout, are in place and on the lookout for illegal constructions.
Legal constructions, you mean like for loops, Ned?
Now, Matt, you know as well as I do that for loops are not illegal, even in MATLAB.
Well, maybe not illegal, but they show bad taste. Friends don't let friends use for loops.
I know you were on the varsity vectorization team back in MATLAB school, but our competitors are free to use any legal constructs. Now, let's get back to our program. Since we've already met our talented competitors, let's meet the challenge. Matt?
Well, anyone who's familiar with our recent contest knows that Lord Ned isn't the most stable character. And,
Sorry, could I just point out, Matt, that any similarities between Lord Ned's name and my own are purely coincidental?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Lord Ned. No, Ned. Now, as I was saying, in this championship problem, he's actually behaving quite reasonably. He just wants to understand what service length cohort each of his government officials is in, and that sounds pretty straightforward, right? But they don't call him Mad Lord Ned for nothing. As you'll see, the devil is, as always, in the details. Deceptively simple basic idea. You get a 2-column matrix of years. The rows represent different government employees. The first column is the year they started their job. The second column is the year they left. And that's Nan if they're still working. And from that, our competitors have to figure out the number of employees who have been in their job 0 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, 10 to 14 years, and so on. And they have to do this for the years 2013 to 2025. So the output will be a matrix. Each row is the distribution of tenures for 1 year, the first row being 2013, the last row being 2025. And the number of columns will vary because it'll depend on the longest tenure achieved.
Thank you, Matt, but I'm going to have to cut you off there.
Oh, yeah, but hang on. I haven't even gotten to the treacherous details.
Sorry, but those treacherous details will have to wait because it looks like our competitors are all in position now, and we're just moments away from the drama that we love, the drama that we call Cody. Now, in this early stage, they'll surely be jockeying for position, drinking that last espresso, and looking for the millisecond advantage that could make all the difference. Our players are strapped in, and there is the starting gong, and they're off. Now, let's check in with the relentless coders, and it looks like they are. Yes, they're reading the problem. Okay, over to creative coders. Matt?
Creative, yep. They are also reading. Wait. They're no, they're scrolling back up. No, they're still reading.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on with the cool coders.
From my side, I would say the distribution thing.
Yes, more reading. Well, there you have it.
Well, Ned, I guess it turns out that reading the problem is an important part of solving it.
Well spotted, Matt. I'm glad we have your many years of experience to draw on for that keen observation. Why don't we skip ahead a bit here? And we're back with creative. And
sure if that's a good idea.
Look at that. They are using the whiteboard. It's like we're glimpsing the brain of Cody genius here. Just look at that magnificent box.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Team Cool, playing it cool, they're taking the first test case, and it looks like they're going to use that in the scratchpad to figure out their solution. It's a nice strategy.
Yes, creative coders, with the same idea, but they're dialing it all the way up to 11. Test case 11, that is. They're looking through all the test cases to find a small one to work with. And what's this? Vasilis is running a desktop MATLAB in the background. Fascinating. All Cody players are somewhat different. Some players are purists, only consuming that MATLAB that's offered by the Scratchpad. But Vasilis clearly has a taste for sterner stuff.
Now, do you hear that, Ned? That's just the sound of dozens of MATLAB desktop developers weeping for joy.
Yes, and over to Relentless. The Relentless crew is, yes, they are relentlessly rereading the rules, and now, wait, there's a move to the answer box, and they're jumping right into writing the heart of the function. Damn the debugging, full speed ahead, says Dev Gupta. My goodness, that's a gutsy move.
That's bold.
Some might say incautious or even inadvisable. Then again, if inspiration strikes, perhaps they can dictate perfection and call it one and done. Or not. Oh dear, I see we're looking at the rules again. How's creative doing over there, Matt?
Well, Ned, there's been some great collaboration going on there. They're sharing control of the Scratchpad. That's pretty nice. However, I am perturbed and terrified to report that this appears to have resulted in them doing something with 3D arrays.
Did you say 3D array? I did not have that on my bingo card for today.
No, indeed. I mean, look, you know I love a good vectorized, loopless solution. So as much as it's hurting my brain right now, I do hope this works out for them. But they are braver men than I am.
That's coming from a man who once made an entire Cody problem group about cricket. Well, speaking of brave and crazy, Team Relentless have decided one function isn't enough, and they're now writing a subfunction.
Subfunction. Well, we're certainly seeing some different approaches here, Ned.
Well, you're not wrong. Now let's see how things are going with Team Cool. They are.
Okay.
Wait, is that? Am I seeing curly braces? Surely they aren't using cell arrays.
Okay.
But it appears they are. Another shock development, Matt.
Yeah, shocking. It is always surprising when someone willingly chooses to mess with cell arrays. But Ned, I do understand their thinking. Looking at their code, it looks like they're trying to loop over the years, and then they're figuring out who is employed in each year and how long they've been there, and so there is no guarantee that that's the same number of employees each year. So, cell arrays are a, let's say, reasonable way to store that information. Frightening, but reasonable.
Now over to Relentless. Functions and for loops. Nested for loops even. Reminds me of the old saying, if the only tool you have is a for loop, then everything starts to look like a for loopable thingy, or something like that. Anyway, goodness me, there's the whistle for halftime already. And now, as we're all getting up to stretch our legs, would be a good time to examine the problem a little more closely. Let's listen in as three-time Cody World Cup finalist and problem designer Matt Terrell describes the dastardly secrets, the landmines, and poorly conditioned numerics that he's weaved into this, his magnum opus.
Well, thank you, Ned. They say you should write what you know. And so, as you probably know, this problem just comes straight from a part of MathWorks culture. At each company meeting, we celebrate MathWorkers' 5-year anniversaries. And recently, somebody noticed that we had 25 people in the 25-year club. And, the discussion went from there and became the inspiration for this championship round problem. So, If our brave competitors hated the problem, well, instead of blaming the fictional Mad Lord Ned, they can blame the very real Mad Lord Ned.
Now, Matt, you're still the one who wrote the problem.
That is true. Yep, they can also blame me. I mean, nans in the years for employees who haven't left yet. I mean, that was just cruel. But I wanted to see how our champions would deal with that. Function like is nan, do you replace them with a value like, 2026 or something? You just have to be extra clever with your logic. Because, of course, that was the other fun wrinkle, the logic, the edge cases of how you count someone in their first or last year on the job. And then you throw in the nans, and you might think, well, year less than 2013 and year greater than or equal to 2013 are logical inverses of each other. But no, if the year is nan, those will both evaluate to false.
Sir, that is nasty. Truly diabolical.
Well, yes, indeed, Ned. It's possible that is the fact that drove Lord Ned mad. And as always, I'm on the lookout for problems that can be solved in multiple ways. In particular, I love trying to figure out if the best approach is vectorized MATLAB, nice and clean, or old school brute force programming. So in this problem, how do you count the tenures into the 5-year bins? Do you use a loop? A function like hist counts? Do you just do math and use a cum array?
Kids, don't use a cum array. It may look like fun, but someone you love is going to get badly hurt.
Well, that's true. And, and finally, it may have seemed harmless, but it was not. Allowing the start dates arbitrarily far back in time, that meant the maximum tenure could be anything, and that meant you didn't know how many columns you needed in your output matrix before going through all the data first. And so that was a surprisingly nasty trap laid by our insane despot.
Are you referring to Lord Ned or you?
Well, that brings us to the end of our halftime show, so let's get back to the action and see how our fearless coders are handling these lurking pitfalls.
Thank you, Matt. And we are back with Relentless here. When in doubt, write another function, apparently. Unfortunately, I seem to have a little bit of a problem with the writing the function bit. Well, details. How are Team Creative doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm afraid Team Creative have fallen into the nan trap. Oh dear, I almost feel sorry for them.
Stop giggling. You know you're the one who put those nans in there.
That's why I said almost. Well, let's not dwell on this gory scene. Let's see how the cool coders are doing. They're making some steady progress here, Ned. They're very methodical, very cool under pressure, just like their name suggests.
Just like their name suggests. Well, score one for nominative determinism, I guess. But they're still not done. Wait a second, or are they? It looks like they're going for an early submit. Well, it hardly seems wise at this point to... My goodness, they've done it! Against the odds and against all expectation, Team Cool has carried away the laurels of victory. Let's check with the referee to make sure there are no flags. Well done. And I'm getting the all-clear signal from the judges. Team Cool have done it.
Ned, I'm really impressed by how they worked their way through that problem. I mean, they got this part working, then they got that part, very methodical, and really, I don't think they got waylaid by any of the traps. That was nicely done.
And now it's a race for second place. Team Relentless. Fair amount of deep, silent thought here. Really tough for the cameraman to make much of it. Can't really see the drama, the tension, and the agony, but my goodness, I can feel it from here. Let's look at Team Creative. And they are also still stuck, but we are seeing some signs of progress.
Yeah, and they're also living up to their name. They're coming up with some different creative ways to get around the various traps and the problem, but how close are they to solving it? It's hard to say at this point.
Well, wait a second. It looks like they think they might have it. They've teed up the submit button, and we'll see which of the assessments fail on this or not. Wow, it is in the cup. They have succeeded.
Well, Ned, that escalated quickly. I'll admit, I didn't see that one coming, but fair play to them. Phenomenal result, just bringing it all together at the end there.
And on the course, still Team Relentless. And, oh, that's too bad. It looks like they fell foul of the problem Matt mentioned earlier, not knowing ahead of time how many bins they need for the tenures. But, true to their name, they've pushed on through.
And that's right, Ned. As the Bard of Avon put it, they were in code stepped in so far that should they debug no more, returning were as tedious as go
I don't think Shakespeare ever said that, Matt.
I think you'll find it's Macbeth, Act 3, Scene 14159. You can check it.
You know what? I'll take your word for it. Because it looks like Team Relentless has got everything lined up at last. The submit click is in, and success.
Hey. Wow. Love it. All the teams living up to their names. Relentless. Really, we're in a tough spot there, but they persisted. Relentless. They got the green check mark. Well done.
Well done all the way around. All three teams able to solve the problem. Well, Mr. Puzzle Master, were you surprised by that?
Not at all, Ned. I mean, yeah, there were some tricky elements to this problem, but I mean, these coding champions had already proved they could handle it. I mean, I will say I was surprised how quickly it came together at the end in some cases, but, well, as you know, that's just the nature of Cody sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes you think you have it nailed and you discover you've missed something critical. Other times, you're not sure if you're on the right track, and every test passes, no problem.
Well, thank you so much for that, Matt. And that's our show for today, friends. 3 teams, 6 champions, 1 contest for the ages. Thank you to our competitors, and thank you to you, our viewers. Happy solving to you all, and we'll see you on the leaderboard.